welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all things birth plans and birth planning. So you may have heard of them before as being called birth preferences, but creating a plan for your birth and looking into what all the different alternatives can be can mean that you have the best head start in terms of having a positive and empowering birth experience. I'm here to tell you why. If this is the first time that you have joined me for a video, my name is Kitty. I cover everything from birth preparation, trying to conceive, pregnancy, postpartum, and everything in between. So if you're interested in that kind of content, please do subscribe down below, and I'll also leave the link to my Instagram where I tend to be most days. I also have a really holistic, highly inclusive birth preparation course, which is an e-course that you can work through in your own time with heaps of free downloads and all sorts of wonderful things to help you feel truly prepared to meet your baby. So the question that I get a lot is, but why, Kitty? Why do I have to spend this time sitting down, researching, looking up all of this stuff when I could be getting the bassinet ready for my baby? I could be folding and, getting all those sweet newborn clothes ready. Well, actually, I would argue that this is much more important. I would even go as far as to say that creating your birth plan is the first step towards a positive and empowering birth experience. When it comes to having an empowering birth, it's less so to do with things going according to how you would like them to go, and more so towards with that feeling of empowerment. And creating birth preferences encourages you to feel educated around your decisions when it comes to birth and meeting your baby. It helps you to sit down, take the time to look at what the different options there are. So instead of just arriving at the door of the hospital and being given the birth that they give to you, you're actually putting yourself into the driver's seat and being able to make choices around how you'd like to meet your baby. So the first thing is the education aspect of it. And really when you sit down that first day to look at what different options are available to you, you'll see, oh gosh, delayed cord clamping, I didn't realise that was an option. Or being able to move in labour, I thought you just had to get onto the bed. Oftentimes in our modern day society, we are fed this very sort of direct line and one option only for our birth experience. And really and truly, it's just so varied. I have met so many mamas who have birthed their babies in so many different ways. And when it comes to creating those birth preferences, we have to think about how we would make decisions around other big life events. So when we think about booking a big holiday, we think about looking at all the different hotels. We don't just pick the first one. We look at what sort of food is on offer. We will look at whether it's full board or half board. We look at if there's pools, if there's a kiddies pool, if there's maybe an activity area, whether there are other things on offer. We don't just pick the first option. Then it comes to maybe our wedding day. We always have a backup plan in case it rains on the day. What do? We were planning a beautiful outdoor wedding and then all of a sudden it's torrential rain on the day. We don't just hope for the best. We have our backup plan in place. So when it comes to preparing for your birth, I would always say have a plan A, B, and C. Your plan A is for as you would like your birth to go if you went into labour naturally by yourself without any assistance whatsoever. Your plan B is if perhaps you required induction for some medical reason or your baby was just super duper late to the party and needed a little bit of help coming along. And plan C is if you required a cesarean birth. So with all of those, there are different options available to you. And I might talk a little bit more in depth about each one of those. Let me know in the comment section down below if that's something that you are interested in. And I might talk a little bit more about each phase of labour and how you can create preferences for each portion of those. If you're unsure about where to go to start creating your birth preferences, a great place to start is simply typing it into Google, or equally going directly to my website, which I'll have linked down below, and downloading the free birth preferences template. That's a fantastic place for you to see and have a literal tick the box for the things that you wish for or do not wish for when it comes to meeting your baby. So you've done the research, you've educated yourself, you've looked at what all the different options are, and now, well, why on earth is it a good idea to have this birth preferences? And the good thing that I love is it's a fantastic and really powerful communication tool. So I always recommend having 2 copies. I recommend having one copy inside your hospital or birth centre notes and the other one laminated and put to the front, because birth can sometimes get a little bit messy. This is a fantastic communication tool for your care providers, so I always make sure that you closer to your due date than you would realise, run through what your different birth preferences are to make sure that they are something that's all okay and that they're all on board with the care that you'll be receiving. The next thing that I would say that it's really good for is for that change of staff. So while you mightn't have that continuity of care with the same member of staff with you all the time, all it takes is 2 minutes for them to have a quick flick through your birth preferences for them to know, okay, cool, she wants to birth on all fours, or she wants to get into the shower when she can, so let's promote that, or let's encourage that and show her that that's an option. All of these different things are really powerful. And the other thing that's really, really good is when it comes to your birthing partner, they have a really wonderful insight into how how things can look and how they can be really helpful in terms of helping you reach that birth experience that you really, really want. So either making that your birth preferences out with them or allowing them to read it and going through it with them afterwards can be a really great way to start that process and start getting the ball moving in terms of stacking the cards in your favor to have a really empowering birth experience. So when it comes to the tips that I would give you around creating your birth preferences, the first thing that I would say is be flexible. And that's part of the reason why there's so much, negativity around creating birth preferences, is that a lot of women would argue that they had such a stuck vision of how they like things to be, that then when things didn't go to plan or they maybe required a little bit of help, that it meant that their mental health really suffered and that they struggled with that feeling of not having reached their ultimate goal afterwards and not having had that dream birth experience. So when it comes to the creation of your birth preferences, that's why I always recommend creating your birth preferences A, B, and C so that you are preparing for every eventuality. So while I would argue the creation of a birth plan might help you feel supported, educated, and empowered around meeting your baby, it's up to you when it comes to how you prepare, both mentally and physically, for this journey. I love to come back to that analogy of birth being a marathon. And when it comes to training for a marathon, you simply don't just show up on the day and hope for the best. You put hours of training, you're fueling your body with the correct fuels, and equally when it comes to birth. You are surrounding yourself with positive stories. You're ingesting, whether it be through podcasts, through reading blog posts, all of these positive stories around birth. You're educating yourself on the different possibilities. You're learning about what the different tools you might add into your labour toolkit, whether that is massage, acupuncture, aromatherapy, movement for labour. There are lots of different options. If you're curious to learn about some more, make sure and check out some of my previous videos or download my e-course that you can access in your own time to learn about all of these different aspects in terms of preparing for your birth. So doing all of that homework first is on you. So starting today in thinking about what you would like for your dream birth and then helping to stack the odds in your favour to help you get there. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope that it has given you some idea on just how valuable the creation of birth preferences or a birth plan can be. Please do let me know in the comments below what sort of birth preferences you had during your birth and how it changed your experience of meeting your baby.